This episode of Weapons Wednesday is dedicated to all those viewers out there that just like it a little bit more old school. Things that you would see used by classic bouncers, casino security, or mobster enforcers. With things like the slapjack or expandable baton on the list of self-defense items to go over today. So I'm super excited to get into it, but before we do, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. On the last episode of Weapons Wednesday, I asked you guys a question on the community tab. I asked which ninja weapon would you use against an intruder, and you guys voted. And with an astonishing 81% of the vote, the winner is the short tactical naginata. That was such a cool weapon to film with, so if you want to get one for yourself today, check out the links down in the description to go to KarateMart.com and get you one shipped directly to your house. But I want to ask you this now. What old school weapon do you think will be the most effective in today's day and age? So it's time to get into the first round, and that is the solid brass knuckle dusters. Now you can call them brass knuckles, knuckle dusters, brass fists, or even paperweights. These have gone by many different names throughout the years that they've been in use. They were made famous because of how TV, movies, and video games connected them to both gangsters and mafia members, making them the weapon of choice for many enforcers and thugs in some of the most famous movies out there. Things like The Expendables, James Bond, or even The Godfather. They are designed to enhance someone's punch by doing three critical things. First, it would be able to protect your hand, allowing you to swing much harder and more times without actually breaking or damaging your hand at all. Second, it would add significant weight to a person's hand, and anyone that knows the equation for force will tell you that that's a devastating factor. And lastly, but arguably most importantly, it allows you to focus the force on a specific point of your fist. Instead of hitting with your whole hand, they took the force and put it just on one rigid piece of metal bar that goes across your knuckles, greatly multiplying the damage you can do with each hit, which is actually why it's illegal, because they are so deadly without many people realizing just how deadly they are, causing accidental deaths because people use them without realizing the power that they actually have in their hand. And this one from KarateMart definitely has some power behind it. It is made out of one solid piece of brass, which I personally love because they don't always make them actually out of brass. It's just a little bit more special when the brass knuckles are truly brass knuckles. They're also a really good size, being about 4.5 inches wide and about 2.5 inches deep. The size, paired with the fact that this palm grip is really nice and wide, allows you to be really comfortable whenever you're holding them. And that fact right there really sells it for me, because uncomfortable knuckle dusters are the absolute worst to have in your hand, and these truly are quite nice. And with a 1-inch diameter finger hole, it's going to be able to fit nearly all hand sizes. And it also weighs in at about 7 ounces. And like I said earlier, the extra weight is no joke in a combat scenario. I mean, when you hold it, you can feel the power that this thing carries with it. However, just like I mentioned the other times I talked about knuckle dusters here on the channel, it is important to check your local laws always. Obviously, you should be doing this for every weapon you plan to carry, but this one is quite notably illegal in many areas. But once you make sure they are legal in your area, definitely grab one from KarateMart.com. Second, we have, well, the slapjack. Slapjacks are some of the most classic mafia weapons that you could possibly get, oftentimes going by different names like blackjacks or saps. Now, if many people don't recognize the power this weapon holds, I wouldn't blame you. It's really hidden, but don't be fooled. This is an incredibly devastating weapon that would occasionally be used by mafia to, well, shake down people they wanted money from or information from. In short, they are a baton-like weapon that consists of a flat piece of leather with a weight at the other end. And they would be able to do some serious damage, capable of knocking people unconscious, breaking bones and teeth, or even finishing the target completely. In fact, the name of the weapon itself comes from the sound it would make when the weapon was used to slap and hit the target's skull. specifically the back of the skull. Now, obviously, they are known for their use for mafia enforcers, but they were also used by police as well. They were popular due to their low profile, small size, and effectiveness in a very close range, like when grappling with a suspect. Typically used in a less lethal way to attack the elbows, wrists, shins, and other bony parts of the body, but they did start to get phased out in the 60s due to too many accidental deaths. And by the 90s, they were completely phased out, but they are still amazing self-defense weapons. And this one, sent to me by KarateMart.com, is amazing and super easy to carry. Being made out of heavy-duty all-black leather allows it to slide in and out of my pocket with ease. And that's one of the biggest things to look for in any weapon you would use for self-defense. You need to be able to access it quickly. You really don't have time to fidget around with anything for 5 minutes while you try and get it to work. So that reliability is huge. And the weight hidden in the striking end is a solid lead slug, coming in at an overall weight of about 12 ounces. And with an 11-inch reach that it gives you, it's definitely going to do some damage. You won't have any problem protecting yourself or your loved ones. And the leather wrap will actually help the weapon stay in your hand when swinging it. It personally gives me much more confidence to swing much harder than I normally would in any situation. Kind of like having the straps on a Wii remote. And just like with brass knuckles, you're going to want to check your local laws. They are illegal in some areas because, well, honestly, the same reason brass knuckles are. They can be surprisingly deadly, and their claim to fame is their attachment to the mafia. I mean, if they're bad guy weapons, the chances are they're gonna get banned. But here in Texas, I'm in luck because there are no bad guy weapons. Just the freedom to use whatever weapon I want. And those of you lucky enough to live in a place where you can have one of these, you can not only have this, but you can also choose a smaller variant that's about 8.5 inches long, weighing about 7 ounces total, making it slightly easier to carry with you and fit in your pocket if you have smaller pockets. But before we get into the second weapon, I wanted to ask if you would leave a comment on this video letting me know what you think about how it is and how I can improve. This is the first video where I'm trying my new mic, and I know you guys don't love that I use my glasses, so I'm trying to use them less, but it does help me record these videos much faster so that I can actually read the script without looking away from you guys. But again, let me know, and I'd love to have the conversation with you guys down in the comments below. Anyway, next we have these steel fist gloves. Weighted gloves or sap gloves are a type of concealed weapon that you can wear. They both protect the user's hands with padding and leather, keeping you safe from injury, and they can increase the force of your punch by adding weight to the hand, all while basically being completely unnoticeable to 99% of people around you, often being used by bouncers and security teams, usually in places where street fights are expected, but carrying around a full self-defense weapon or obvious self-defense weapon wouldn't really work out. And even if you could have other self-defense weapons, this is a weapon that's attached to you and provides protection, and even against certain knives or slashes that, just can't be beaten. It's just like carrying armor on your hands. And honestly, the biggest benefit is being able to wear them without being noticed. I mean, it's getting cold in Texas. Well, as cold as it can get in Texas. So being able to keep my fingers warm and also keeping myself protected is my favorite feature of these gloves. And with the steel fist gloves from KarateMart.com, I'm able to add a total of 8 ounces to my hand, 6 of those ounces being in the steel shot sewn in the knuckles of the hand. And let me tell you, I feel incredibly protected, and I feel like I could do some serious damage to some attacker's face. The goat skin on the fingers, knuckles, and palm allow it to feel really nice to the touch and very durable. And the spandex in the glove allows me to feel quite free without being restricted at all when I wear it. And who doesn't want full range of motion with their wrists and fingers when wearing gloves? I mean, that's nice for any glove you're gonna wear, not just self-defense gloves, but pretty much every glove you could possibly wear for any amount of time. And like I said, it's absolutely perfect for an everyday weapon carry because of just how seamless this really looks. I mean, on the first, second, and third glance, this literally just looks like biker gloves that you would be wearing when you ride your bike, or work gloves that you could be wearing when you're on your job. Plus, it has this really nice Velcro strap that will secure the glove and make sure it doesn't slide off just in case it gets pulled on, because You never want to lose your weapons. So honestly, if you're needing an everyday carry for self-defense, something like this, it's so easy to carry and keep on you without drawing suspicion, is a great choice. I mean, it's perfect for going on a late night jog or commuting on foot to your job throughout the big city. So definitely check these out. Links down in the description, just like with all the other weapons we're going over today. And lastly, we have the auto push expandable baton. And this one is personally my favorite weapon of the batch. Because honestly, I'm a sucker for automatic or expandable weapons. Some of you may remember how much I love the OTF Karambit that I reviewed back in a previous video. But many expandable weapons are quite honestly terrible. They are oftentimes weak or fragile or simply just get jammed way too often. But this one is definitely going on the list as one of my personal favorite expandable weapons. And it's probably one of the best car defense weapons on this list. Well, at least in my opinion it is. But don't worry, I'll get into that in just a second. But first I want to talk about the case that it comes in. It comes in a nylon case with a Velcro closure that makes it super easy to access from your waist, which is good because it also comes with a belt loop that is quite strong and makes casually carrying this weapon much easier. Now for the weapon itself, it's about 13.5 inches when closed and about 28 inches when fully extended. The all black look with the molded rubber grip on the handle is perfect for my style and great for function. The rubber makes it feel really sturdy in my hand, and I have a great hold on it. And for a swinging weapon, that's huge because I feel safe allowing myself to put more power and more speed on the swings without actually losing control of the weapon. It's also going to have a nylon cord to allow you to slide your wrist through to add more security when swinging it so that it doesn't slide out of your hand, much like the slapjack does with its leather strap. I couldn't think of the word leather for a second. And the opening of this weapon is actually fully automatic. Like, you don't have to add momentum in any way to get this thing to expand. It's just press a button and bang, it shoots out. And it shoots out incredibly quickly and honestly quite powerfully. It's powerful enough to break glass, and thanks to the glass breaker tip, it will have no problem doing just that, which is why I think it's perfect for a car carry weapon. Honestly, one of my fears is that I would be stuck in a car that is going underwater, and having this and able to, for certain, break glass is definitely a win in my book. Plus, it fits right in the car door basically perfectly. And the auto expansion could be used to strike a target that's in the seat behind you. I mean, the opening action is awesome and intimidating on itself, but it's also not hard to close either. It not only closes when you want it to, but it's definitely not going to close due to normal use of hitting really anything that's soft. So like, any human attacker or animal attacker for that matter. The instructions to close this weapon are on the box for you guys. But hey, this is a video, so I figured I would show you guys how to close it just in case you just couldn't figure it out. What you're going to do is whack the weapon at an angle on the ground or another hard, solid object. It will require you to whack something really solid because if the target moves or budges or isn't solid, it really won't work. Personally, I had no issue whacking the ground to get it to loosen off of the railings on the inside. So you whack it at that angle to unlock the segments and push it to the ground completely to close. Remember, you have to follow through with the push, otherwise you won't be able to actually close it all the way. Now, I know it may sound complicated, but it really didn't take me long to figure it out and get the hang of it just with the instructions on the box. And even my student Elise was able to get it pretty quickly. It's an excellent end to the list of old school classic self-defense weapons. And like I said earlier, I'd love to know which one you think would be the most effective for this day and age. And I'd love to know why you think to what you do. I honestly try to respond to as many comments as I can, so I can't wait to meet you down in the comment section and chat it up. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end, but my name's DJ the Modern Ninja, and I'll see you Weapons Wednesday.